How can students regain faith in themselves? I believe that every child has the potential to become self-confident. Yet, as we have grown older, I find that we might have been let down by the people around us, losing that innate faith in ourselves. When I was younger, I remember myself as being inherently curious. Starting from the age of 4, I was interested in anything to do with the weather. During the summer months, I would track the exact positions of the typhoons in the South China Sea on a whiteboard, while time seemed to stop still in the process. In those early days, self-confidence came naturally to me, like a fish to water, because every time I learned something new, I gained confidence in my own abilities. I could fully engage myself in whatever I was learning without the fear of making a mistake or feeling the pressure to achieve beyond my peers. The freedom to learn was in my own hands, and it felt exhilarating. I was introduced to chess, my next hobby, which was chess, through a stack of chess trophies besides the school's entrance, my primary school, which is Koi Bay. Once I started playing, I realized that chess was an inherently competitive game. You either win against your opponent or you lose against them. And draws were usually few and far between. Not long after, I joined my first tournament, where I was squarely beaten. On one hand, I loved learning chess and learning how the pieces worked. But on the other, I felt the pressure to achieve better and better results in my tournaments. And I felt the pressure, and I wondered if I could continue achieving these achievements without losing my self-esteem. Fast forward to year 7, where after years of relentless bullying, both inside and outside of school, my self-esteem was shattered. At that time, I was desperately searching for validation from my peers, and academics was how I set out to achieve that. I was deeply afraid if someone would point out a mistake in my working, and I remember throwing my book against the wall. In frustration and anguish, I defined myself as being an achiever, being top of the class, and I felt the burden from my classmates to be this way. I had tied academics to my self-esteem. I had tied it to my identity and never let it go because I was deeply afraid inside. My pursuit for academic achievement only intensified when the IGCSE exam results were released every year. I remember how I'd see the faces of the top achievers achieving 9 A stars or 10 A stars or even more. And there was a huge acknowledgement of how far they had come in achieving these results. I had always aspired to be like them, but when I finally received my IGCSE grades, I was proud of the 9 A stars and 1 grade 8 that I had received. However, my insecurities continued to remain with me throughout my time in school. Inside of me was still that hard shell, which I would not let anyone see. And inside of that dark place, I hid my deepest vulnerabilities and fears. But that was slowly beginning to change thanks to some lucky encounters I had with a few teachers who not only actively supported me, but believed in my potential to grow. Thanks to a chance encounter, I got to know Eddie Wu, a math teacher who broadcasts his lessons online on YouTube. I was struck by how he developed a personal rapport with each and every one of his students. He encouraged the brightest to produce the best work, but also provided a safe, calm, and nurturing environment for the most disadvantaged students, such as those facing drug addiction or domestic violence in their home lives. And there, I saw how a teacher could develop a relationship with each one of their students. And I believe that teachers inspire and look for the best rather than the worst in every student, fostering a healthy relationship that will continue for a lifetime. That was eventually how I learned to love myself again, through that support that only a teacher can give. What I now want to turn everyone's attention to is the countless other students who have faced similar disadvantages, being emotionally left behind due to a lack of support from the people who should be at the center of their lives. Every day at school, I see sleep-deprived students who often become sullen and moody, unable to concentrate in class, because on the one hand, the school timetable expects them to be awake, whereas the body clock expects them to be still asleep. I see students with special needs being looked down upon when they ask for extra time in their exams. And I fear most for the students who are left behind in the margins and ostracized due to their emotional outbursts, when in reality, they might be hiding a deep history of trauma and of pain, but just can't find someone who is willing to listen to their story. After facing a long history of trauma and being lucky enough to meet the right people who are willing to believe in me, I wondered, how can I give back? How can I do the same that others have done for me? That opportunity came during work experience in year 11, where I met a group of adults with special needs. In particular, I remember one student called Jeremy, who would always hug students in his arms without any warning. At first, I was intimidated by him because I felt uncomfortable by how he acted. But then I realized that he was just like me, that he too needed love and support, and wasn't quite sure how to express that feeling towards others. On the last day, when we were singing Christmas carols in front of the public, I saw how Jeremy was laughing and smiling while he sang. And it was that moment that I realized that I had made a difference and had given back to someone who was desperately in need, allowing them to in turn give back to others who need that same support, and spreading messages of hope. Reciprocating from others has truly changed my perspective on how I view the world and how I can help others in future. I'd like to sum all this up with a concept called ikigai from Japanese, which translates as a reason for being. It encapsulates what you're good at, what you can earn a living from, and most importantly, what can help both others and yourself. And that's the passion, mission, and vocation all rolled into one. I believe this is that motivation to actively make a difference to other people. And that's also how we can reboot our conscience, by doing the right thing and helping other people in need. To all those who experience trauma, I'd like to tell you, you are not alone. Although it may be difficult, there's always someone waiting for you. And it's always possible to find out someone who's going to trust you, and in turn, to regain trust in yourself. Remember, all of you have the power to help someone in need. Thank you.